You probably already know that change is important. You hear it everywhere. Change your habits. Change your mindset. Change your life. But when you try to actually change something in your real life, it feels very different from motivational quotes. It feels heavy. It feels confusing. It feels uncomfortable. You decide, I will wake up earlier. I will stop this bad habit. I will finally start this project. And then you meet resistance, not only from the world, but from inside yourself. Today, we are going to talk about why change is truly good, deeply necessary, but almost never easy. We will explore how your brain reacts to change, why you keep slipping back into old patterns, and how you can design your changes so they are difficult, yes, but possible. And before we begin, if you appreciate content that talks honestly about the psychology of change, and not only just do it, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. That small action tells the platform and tells me to keep bringing you real training for your inner world. Now, Part 1. Why change is good even when it feels bad. Let us start with a simple truth. Change is uncomfortable, but discomfort is not always a danger. Sometimes it is a sign that you are growing. Think about exercise. If you never feel any physical discomfort, you are probably not training enough to get stronger. In the same way, when you challenge your habits, your beliefs, your routines, you feel mental and emotional discomfort. Your brain says, "This feels strange. This is hard. Let us stop." But this discomfort is often a sign that you are moving out of automatic mode and into intentional mode. Change is good because it opens doors to possibilities that your old patterns cannot give you. Better health, more time, deeper relationships, new opportunities. If everything in your life stays the same, your future will look like your past. If you want a different future, some things must change. Part 2. Your brain loves stability. That is why change feels hard. From your brain's perspective, stability is safety. Your brain does not care if a habit is good or bad. It cares if it is familiar. Familiar means predictable. Predictable means less risk. So when you decide to change, even in a positive way, you are asking your brain to leave a familiar pattern and enter unknown territory. Your brain sends signals: doubt, fear, laziness, procrastination. Not because it hates you, because it thinks, we do not know what will happen if we change. Better to stay where we are. This is why even good changes feel hard. You are not only fighting a habit, you are negotiating with your brain's need for safety. Part 3. The comfort zone, the learning zone, and the panic zone. You have probably heard about the comfort zone. But let us add 2 more zones to understand change better. Comfort zone. Things you do without effort. They feel safe, but they rarely bring growth. Learning zone. Things that feel challenging, but still manageable. Here is where change happens. Panic zone. Things that feel too intense, too fast. Your system shuts down. You avoid. When you try to change too much too quickly, you jump from comfort directly into panic. For example, you usually wake up at 8. Suddenly you decide, from tomorrow I will wake up at 5. Your body, your mind, they scream, no. The change is too big. You fall back to your old time. Effective change lives in the learning zone. Not too easy, not too extreme. Part 4. Why all or nothing kills your changes. Many people have an all or nothing approach. If I cannot do it perfectly, I will not do it at all. This sounds strong, but in practice it creates a fragile system. Because real life is messy. You get tired. You get sick. Your schedule changes, if you think. Either I follow the plan 100% or I am a failure. Then one small slip destroys everything. You miss one workout. You eat one snack. You skip one study session, and you conclude. It is over. Then you return to your old pattern. Change is good, but it becomes possible only when you replace all or nothing with something is better than nothing, and consistency is more important than perfection. Part 5. The emotional cost of change. We often talk about the practical cost of change, time, energy, money. But there is also an emotional cost. When you change, you may feel guilt for leaving old habits, fear of losing old identities, sadness about people or situations that no longer fit the new you. For example, you decide to drink less at parties. You are doing something good for your health. But maybe some friends react differently. They make jokes. They say you are boring now. You feel torn between your change and your desire to be accepted. Good change often requires grieving some elements of your old life. You are not only creating the new, you are also releasing parts of the old. This is emotional work. Part 6. Micro change. How small steps create big shifts. Because change is hard, we need a strategy that respects this reality. One powerful strategy is micro change. Instead of trying to transform everything in one week, you focus on small, repeatable actions. For example, instead of, I will read for 1 hour every day, you start with, I will read for 10 minutes after lunch. Instead of, I will never touch my phone in bed again, you start with, 3 nights a week, I will leave my phone in another room. Micro changes look small, but they are big for your nervous system. They show your brain that change does not always mean panic. It can mean manageable steps. Part 7. Identity. The hidden engine behind change. Change is not only about behavior, it is about identity. If you see yourself as someone who is always late, you will act in ways that match this identity. If you see yourself as someone who is bad with money, you will repeat financial patterns that keep this story alive. When you try to change behavior without touching identity, your old identity pulls you back. So, when you design change, ask, what kind of person do I want to be in this area? Then create small signals of that identity. If you want to be someone who respects their health, maybe your signal is keeping a water bottle visible or preparing your walking shoes the night before. If you want to be someone who learns, your signal might be reading 5 pages every day. Over time, these signals tell your brain, this is who we are now. Part 8. The role of environment in making change possible. We often think change is only about willpower, but environment plays a huge role. If your environment supports your old habit, change will feel like swimming against a strong current. For example, if you want to eat healthier but your kitchen is full of snacks in visible places, you will fight temptation every day. If you want to study more but your desk is covered with distractions, your brain will resist starting. You can make change less hard by adjusting your environment. Remove or hide objects that make the old habit easy. Add or highlight objects that make the new habit easier. You are not changing everything. You are changing the path of least resistance. Part 9. Resistance. Do not fight it. Understand it. When you try to change, you will feel resistance. Procrastination, excuses, sudden tiredness. Many people react to this by attacking themselves. I am lazy. I have no discipline. But resistance is often a message. Sometimes it means the change is too big too fast. Sometimes it means you are trying to change for a reason that is not truly yours. For example, you start a diet only because someone criticized your body, not because you want health. Your inner world pushes back. Instead of only fighting resistance, ask it. What are you trying to protect? You might discover fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of losing comfort. When you see the fear, you can adjust your plan instead of calling yourself names. Part 10. Support. You do not have to change alone. Change is personal, but it does not have to be lonely. You can make change a little less hard by inviting support. Support does not mean someone doing the work for you. It means someone who understands your intention, encourages your steps, and reminds you of your reasons when you forget. This could be a friend, a partner, a coach, a community. You can say, I am trying to change this habit. Can you check in with me once a week? Just ask how it is going. Also, choose content that supports your change. Videos, books, podcasts, content that respects your effort, not content that laughs at people who try. Part 11. The 3 phases of change. Most changes move through 3 phases. Phase 1. Decision. You feel inspired. You say, enough, I will change. This phase is emotional. You have energy. Phase 2. Discomfort. You start the new behavior. It feels strange. Your brain complains. You miss your old habit. Phase 3. Integration. If you continue, the new behavior becomes more natural, less intense. It moves from effort toward routine. The problem is that many people stop during phase 2. They think discomfort means, this is wrong. But discomfort is often the bridge between old and new. If you expect it, you can stay on the bridge long enough to reach integration. Part 12. The 2 times rule for sustainable change. We used this idea before, and it works very well for change. The 2 times rule. Do not miss 2 times in a row. If your change is, I walk 3 times a week, and you miss once, accept it, then protect the next time. If your change is, I do not check social media during the first hour of my morning, and one day you slip, do not attack yourself. Simply return the next day. This rule keeps your change alive even with small slips. You focus on consistency instead of perfection. Part 13. A simple 30-day change plan. Let us turn these ideas into a practical 30-day plan for one change. Step 1. Choose one area, not 10. Health, time management, learning, relationships, right. This is the change I want to focus on first. Step 2. Define a micro-action. Turn the change into a small, specific behavior. For example, walk for 10 minutes after lunch. Study English for 10 minutes after dinner. Put my phone in another room for the first hour after waking. Step 3. Adjust your environment. Remove or move objects that support the old pattern. Add visual signals for the new pattern. Step 4. Plan for resistance. Right. What excuses do I usually make? How will I respond when they appear? Step 5. Use the 2 times rule. Expect slips. Protect the next opportunity. Step 6. Track your days. Use a calendar or a simple list. Mark each day you did your micro action. Step 7. Reflect at day 30. Ask, what changed in my behavior? What changed in my identity? What felt hard? What helped? This reflection shows you that change is not magic. It is process. Part 14. When change is not the answer. We have talked a lot about change as something good. But sometimes the problem is not that you need a new habit. It is that you need more acceptance of who you are already. Some people are always trying to change because they feel fundamentally wrong. They think, if I change enough, then I will finally deserve respect. This is different from healthy change. Healthy change comes from, I am worthy now and I want to take care of my life better. Unhealthy change comes from, I am not worthy, so I must fix myself to be lovable. It is important to check, am I changing from self-respect or from self-hate? Because change built on self-hate will never feel like freedom. Part 15. Change as a lifelong skill, not a one-time event. Change is not something you do once and then never again. Life keeps moving. New seasons, new challenges, new roles. You will need to adjust, to grow, to release old patterns and create new ones, many times. So instead of searching for one perfect change, learn the skill of changing. Understanding your brain, respecting your emotions, designing micro steps, using environment, inviting support, practicing consistency without perfection. As we move toward the end, remember, change is good, because without it, your future would be limited to your past. But change is never easy, because it asks your brain, your heart, and your body to leave the known and walk into the new. You do not have to pretend that change feels comfortable. You only have to accept that discomfort is part of the journey, and then design your steps so they are small enough to walk, but big enough to matter. If this video helped you see change in a more realistic and hopeful way, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. And in English, write in the comments, what is one small change you are ready to make in your life, and what micro action will you start with in the next 7 days? Write the change. Write the micro action. Because when you stop waiting for change to feel easy and start walking even with a bit of fear, you discover that your life is not a fixed story, but a living process that you can gently, bravely rewrite one small decision at a time.